Welcome back. In 2023, the need for energy transition has become even more urgent. Global political crisis, rising oil and gas prices, recovery from the COVID pandemic, and the worsening impact of climate change all mean that there's an urgent need to accelerate global energy transition in an inclusive manner. The Energy Transition Dialougues 2023, held over 3 days in New Delhi, convened different stakeholders to discuss the possibilities of people-positive energy transitions in global southern countries.
The Energy Transition Dialogues, organized by Global Energy Alliance for People and Planet in partnership with Observer Research Foundation, was a 3-day event where a wide range of stakeholders, including government officials, philanthropic organizations, think tanks, energy experts and financial institutions came together to discuss how to incorporate renewable energy sources into a low-carbon energy mix. Their goal was to create a robust plan for transitioning to cleaner energy and establishing a solid foundation with effective financing strategies to scale up the adoption of renewables like solar, wind, biofuels, and energy storage solutions. This included making flexible energy grids for efficient energy consumption and distribution.
The global transition to renewable energy is, of course, a defining challenge of our time. It's an opportunity to create a healthier environment, but it's also a massive economic opportunity.
Do energy transition much quicker and faster. These are countries which are vulnerable to climate change, and therefore you need to provide greater amount of financial flows to these countries, and therefore you need a restructuring of multilateral financial institutions.
The whole task of energy transition is so enormous. We're not talking about just the power sector. We're talking of an economy-wide transition that needs to happen in countries across the globe, which also means that you're also looking at a very short time window to about 2030 to make a lot of foundational work happen.
The Energy Transition Dialogues emphasized on Global South cooperation and focusing on 6 key areas: renewable energy, energy storage, energy efficiency, utility upgrades, cleaner transport and infrastructure like buildings, plus financing. During this 3-day event, leaders gathered to discuss and generate solutions for a large-scale shift to renewable energy in alignment with G20 objectives.
It is my absolute honor to introduce GIAP's initiative, ENTICE, Energy Transition Innovation Challenge, an initiative aimed at accelerating people-positive energy transition.
Leaders convened to explore collaborative strategies for expanding access to affordable energy in developing countries and enhancing the effectiveness of cross-border cooperation between businesses and investors in addressing energy transitions.
We are, as a country in Africa, has a very good potential for renewable energy and solar and wind and hydro, but still we need support to implement and to raise our ambitious objectives and targets from renewable energy.
When we have the plan that's investable, we need to look for how can we make a blended finance model that in some cases de-risks this investment so we can drive the accelerated development faster than otherwise would be the case, especially when we talk about access to energy in rural areas. So that's where philanthropy has a role to play in trying to de-risk, first developing the plan, developing the collaboration, the enabling environment together with all the partners that need to come together to drive this. And then secondly, find ways to de-risk the investment so we can get to the hardest to reach areas faster.
A significant update on GIAP's battery energy storage system expansion was also tabled in this 3-day event, where IndiGrid, India's inaugural power sector infrastructure investment trust, was recently granted its inaugural project for a battery energy storage system, or BESS, in Delhi. GIAP aims to provide 70% of the capital investment as concessional debt financing along with technical support for this project. The event's highlights included a captivating cultural performance by Ricky Cage, underscoring India's dedication to proactive climate action. The three-day event concluded with the release of the Energy Transition Dialogues communique, titled A Blueprint for a People-Positive Energy Transition. This document provides a clear roadmap with key principles and actionable plans to accelerate a sustainable energy transition in India and globally.
Jobs. So really what we're talking about here is an economic development story which goes through a low carbon pathway. So very different to how maybe some of the industrialized nations grew their economies. We're actually talking about a net negative pathway.
The conversations that began at the Energy Transition Dialogues in Delhi are of critical importance as the world prepares for COP28, which starts on November 30th in Dubai. This meeting will convene the global community to discuss and address the urgency of climate action.